Hello and welcome to Beyond the Hustle. I'm Alice, a certified NLP mindset and women's health coach, and I'm so beyond excited you're here. This podcast is for the human behind the success, the woman behind the business, behind the grind of building that legacy. Here we dive deep into mindset, rewiring your subconscious mind, nervous system regulation, and energetics. Basically everything that helps you feel grounded and grow sustainably. Whether you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, burnt out, or ready to step into your next level of success and self, this podcast will give you the tools, insights, and shifts to help you move forward with clarity, calm, and conviction. So if you're ready to stop hustling from fear and finally build success that feels as good as it looks, you're in the right place. Welcome to Beyond the Hustle. Hello, and welcome back to Beyond the Hustle podcast, the podcast for building the human that you are behind the business and behind the success. I'm very excited for today's episode because I'm diving into a conversation with a past client of mine who is she's made a massive change this year, and she's also building such an incredible business. She's a female fat loss and self-confidence expert. So welcome to the podcast, Leah.
Thank you. It's been a while. Yeah.
It's been a while, yes.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and we've just been kind of talking a little bit before we jumped on about your new life in Dubai and what that looks like. But to dive straight into the podcast, if we will, I want to kind of look more along the lines of your coaching and your business and everything, and dive into what that's looked like, as well as making this conversation about, obviously packing up your life and moving abroad as well. So you've been an online fitness coach for how many years now?
So it's been nearly 7 years now, actually. So 6.5. Yeah.
Wow, that is actually
been a journey. Yeah.
And also, do you know what? I bet there was when you first started as well, the industry must have looked so different.
Yeah, whenever I started, it's got so much, bigger and oversaturated now as well, for one, for sure. But whenever I first started coaching compared to now, it was all very much bodybuilding, 6-week shreds, you could buying PDFs off influencers and following them for 6 weeks. So that compared to now is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm even remembering a lot of 30-day blaster friends. Yeah, which are kind of been and gone now.
Yeah, honestly, I actually know a couple of coaches that used to sell PDFs full time, and they used to just bang them out to however 100 many people, and then but now it's completely different. You put that up now, people are no. I can just ask TikTok. Yeah.
I would love to know then kind of what your journey looked like actually moving into this role and this industry. Why did you decide to become a coach yourself?
So I honestly, if you would have told me back 10 years ago that I would be doing this role, I honestly would have laughed at you, because whenever I went to uni, I was always into sport. So I was always into playing netball and things like that, at school, and I was loved dancing and things like that. So I was always quite active, but I never really knew what I wanted to do. I just knew that I loved sport. So whenever it came to the point of choosing GCSEs and going to college, it was sport was always going to be the one. So then I went to uni and did sport science, and got into a really good rhythm of sort of enjoying the course, and I wanted to be a teacher actually at the end of it, a PE teacher. And then I remember doing experience, and I remember being absolutely not. I just didn't like it. So I was okay, what am I actually going to do? But during this process, I'd actually, because I went away for uni, I was going out all the time. I was binge drinking. My nutrition was not on point at all. I gained quite a lot of weight, and I found that being away from home and sort of just being surrounded by that sort of uni life, I just fell into quite a bad negative mindset. And I found that I used food and I used alcohol as an out and sort of a comfort. So I'd gained a lot of weight. So I really suffered with binging. Whereas that's sort of where that sort of journey started for me, with regards to food and that sort of negative mindset around it. And then sort of fast forward, I got into quite a bad sort of relationship, which wasn't great, towards the end of my uni, uni years, which triggered me again into sort of just again really bad binging, drinking. And then I moved home and was sort of coming back out of it. So I was chatting to my mum, she's also a coach, and I remember just going into the gym with her and being we were just we were just like going to the gym together, and like she was making my meals at home and stuff, and I remember like losing like quite a bit of weight and learning to sort of navigate my own emotions around food and sort of learn myself like my own triggers.
Mhm.
So yeah, whenever I like sort of had started to see some results out of that, and I was like starting to feel good and like actually made the progress myself, I was like, there's so many other women that are going through the exact same thing and have and feel like they're never going to be able to break it. So that was kind of a, whenever I started seeing those results, that was kind of the one thing that I was like, actually, this is what I want to do, is like, and this is what I'm passionate about, is like helping other women do what I've just done, because I never ever thought that I would ever feel confident in my body ever. So for me to go from binging, binge drinking, binge eating, emotional eating, like feeling really unconfident, to now, or even like during that phase where I was feeling a lot more confident, yeah,
Mhm.
that was the main thing for me, that I was like, I need to sort of, yeah, get into it. So, and I did, and I just like took the jump. So yeah,
I,
basically how I got into it.
that's insane though, and as well, like I feel when you're working with someone as well, and I'm sure a lot of the women that you coach as well very much appreciate the fact that you've been through what they've gone through as well, because you do specifically work a lot on all or nothing mentalities and like the binge kind of restrict cycle as well, right? So I guess I always feel like if you've gone through it, it kind of allows you to be a better coach for that because you have the full understanding of what it looks like, right?
100% been there, wore the t-shirt and like got over it. So like, and don't get me wrong, like obviously there was times like in my own journey when I got into coaching where I thought like bodybuilding was the right way to go. So then I went on a really harsh diet. Then I relapsed with binging. Then I was still a coach at that point, and I had to pull myself out of it again, because
Mm.
obviously I couldn't be a coach and binging at the same time and teaching people how to come out of binging. And it was really like sort of quite tough mentally. So like again, I've been through it, and then I've been through it sort of as a double whammy as well. So yeah, it's something that I really am like passionate about. And obviously like with regards to like with my clients and stuff, it's something that we work like really strongly on. Like I've a lot of clients that come to me with either binging, or they've came to me and they've maybe gone the other way where they're not eating enough food. So yeah.
And I would love to know as well, if you don't mind, on where you're saying as well that when you were doing the more kind of bodybuilding, that you were then going back into that kind of cycle. Because something that I'm massive on as well is like that kind of embodiment piece as well, right? I work through that with a lot of clients
Yeah.
of if you're, teaching your clients to do one thing, but then you're kind of moving in the opposite way behind the scenes, it feels like a conflict for you as well. So I would love to know kind of how you felt during that and how you navigated, like how you actually managed to pull yourself out of that of, this isn't me anymore.
hmm So for, I would say it took me a good 6, 7 months to pull out of that afterwards. So my bikini prep was like 6 months, and it wasn't meant to be that long. But the reason why it was is because it was during COVID. So the shows kept getting pushed back, then pushed back. My prep was longer, my prep was longer. And I remember it was just off the back of the show. So it was, I'd done my 2 shows, and I remember so clearly I had a box of like, I think there was like 8 cookies, and I smashed all 8 of them like literally in the space of 10 minutes, because I was like food, like this is so good. Like I haven't been able to have this like the whole time.
Mm.
And I remember throwing up immediately afterwards. And I was like, but even though I'd just thrown up, I still wanted to eat, like continue to eat again, because I was so restricted the whole time. And in my mindset at that point was like, right, okay, you've just been like restricted for 6 months. It's okay. Like give yourself the week. Like that classic, you'll get back on track like next week on Monday, whatever. Monday came back around, and because my cravings were so up the left, it was really difficult for me to manage. So I would say I went through that phase of like being on track from like Monday to Wednesday, having a binge, being off track from Wednesday to Sunday, and then starting that cycle again on Monday for a good 7 to 8 months post show. And one thing that I found was like, and again, I kind of like dabbled a little bit in like the mindset side of things whenever I first sort of was coming out of binging, but I did find it a little bit easier, because like it wasn't such an intense like diet that I was doing beforehand, which like spiraled me into the binging. So I had to literally sit down and have a word with myself and just be like this cannot continue. You cannot continue coaching clients to do X, Y, and Z if you're not literally walking the walk and doing it yourself behind the scenes. Like I felt like a fraud nearly. Like I felt like I like shouldn't have been doing what I was doing. So a few main things that I found helped really bring me out of that was looking at my mindset. So like, and what triggered me, and like replacing the habit of that. So for
Yeah.
me, it was like, I used to binge whenever I sat down in the evening and watched TV. That classic, like that's the only time I really would have binged. I wouldn't have done it like at any other time. And I always would have had a cup of tea after dinner. And with the tea, I would have always had to have had a packet of biscuits, packet of cookies, like something there. So I was like, okay, right, well, if I still am doing this, like, and I'm still like wanting to binge, like, what habit could I replace that with? So then I replaced it with a hot, like, because I was still doing it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have like a hot chocolate instead. So it's more so I'm not like looking for the food with the tea. So I associated food with tea, and like, do you know what I mean? And like watching TV. So that was one main thing I did and replaced the habit. Second main thing I did was just like allowing myself still like that behavior. So like having, like, I tried the hot chocolates for a while, it did work, and then it was like, right, okay, well, I'm gonna maybe try and add in like a little mini bag of cookies now, and like see if I can literally just have that and like not spiral out of control, and like that worked quite well. And then I also as well would have like completely not watched TV of an evening, and I would have like read instead, or I would have like went to the bath, or I would have like done something completely different to break that cycle. And I would say it took me, yeah, a good 7 to 8 months of just like consistency. And it wasn't like perfect. It wasn't like all of a sudden I just decided to switch the habit and things like completely changed. Like I had to work on it. And I massively had to work on my weekends as well, and changing my mindset around that your life during the week and the weekends, like if you're treating the weekend like a free for all with food like all the time because you're so on track during the week, that's when you're so much more likely to fall off. So I did have to put some boundaries in place of a weekend, being like, okay, we're going to do like one social event, like we're going to enjoy it, but I'm going to have my meals planned beforehand and my meals planned after. So like really planning out your week and making sure you're still enjoying the food that you're eating as well. Yeah, that would be the main things.
Yeah, because I feel like as well, it's people do it all the time, even in business, of like you look at like Monday to Friday, and then the weekend is
Yeah.
like you completely switch off from all goals, and it's like, well, of course you go into a new week being like,
Yeah.
I feel terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So common.
100%. And also, if you're looking at like what you're saying there about the cycle of being on track Monday to Wednesday and then off track Wednesday to Sunday, it's like you're only ever just continuing that
Mhm.
cycle, starting again, starting fresh, starting over, like, and just
Yeah.
stuck in it as well.
Because once you lose the, like, say, for example, you're on Monday to Wednesday, you're like, great, like, I've lost a bit of weight, like, stood on the scales, and then the Wednesday comes again, and you've just gained it all back again. I think that, like, that's another thing that I didn't do as well, was weigh myself for a long period of time, because that's one thing that I find triggers so many people still to this day, even though that we can preach as much as the scale's only a bit of data, like it's not like
Mm.
it's like only one measure of progress. A lot, if you see a spike on the scale, it's like, well, frig it, well, it's not working anyway, so I might as well just eat, because when I was eating it was the exact same, if that makes sense. So like I think like whenever you're actually weighing yourself, you need to be like either weigh yourself every day, don't weigh yourself at all, or like take that pattern, or just leave it for a bit and bring a
Yeah.
better
Yeah, because you need to be able to like pull yourself out of what it
mindset.
actually means on that day and what it means like overall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Yeah.
overall. Um, where you are now, like with obviously, I mean, having been even just in the industry for however many years, like 7 years that you have been,
Mhm.
where you are now is obviously very different to like when you first began as a fitness coach and a business owner. And I would love to know how your definition of success has changed through the years as well.
So whenever I first became a coach, it was more so because I went into one-to-one coaching first of all. So like I obviously do one-to-one now, but I mean in the gym. So I was like on the floor PT. So it was very much a volume game. So it was like as many clients as you can get like through the door. Like I was working like 12-hour shifts. Like then whenever I transitioned on to online, again, it was very much like a revenue numbers driven goal, because it was like you're just starting your business, you're trying to build the foundations. Obviously, don't get me wrong, I still love, like, I was loving what I was doing, but it was very much like what I defined as successful then was like how many clients I had, or like if I was hitting like certain numbers, or like those were the main things I would say like I would have like measured success on, more so than actually now it's more so like how much freedom do I have within my business? Like, can I still enjoy, like, for example, here, because I'm 4 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, depending on daylight saving in Dubai ahead of time. Like I like romanticize my mornings. Like I get up, I go to the gym. Like I like enjoy like what I'm doing on a daily basis. I can take a half day on a Friday if I want to. Whether it's like beforehand, it was like you need to be like pushing revenue all the time. You need to be pushing numbers, otherwise you're not successful compared to other coaches. And that's I was like just burning out because all I was doing was constantly chasing. I was like, I need to be doing more, I need to be working more, I need to be working harder. So I was overworking. So like I found that like just literally now compared to how I was feeling in the first place, just taking a step back, more freedom, how I'm feeling on a daily basis. Like I love my job so much more than I would say than I did at that point because I was putting so much pressure on it. Like how well my clients are doing, like the like how I'm changing my clients' lives, how I'm helping clients like break free from binging, like that's success to me. Like not like the numbers that you see or like anything like
Mm.
that. So I would say that would be like yeah, my sort of answer to that one. Yeah,
I feel
definitely.
like that is literally like music to my ears as well.
Yeah,
I,
you worked with me like when it was like how long ago was that? Whenever we were
that was
working together.
almost like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I was still kind of a little bit caught up in that sort of like that
Mm.
like headspace of
And
yeah,
I feel like it's so easy though, especially with like in the coaching industry, so many people do glorify like, oh, I've earned X amount this month, and you see all the time with like
really
business coaches as
toxic.
well. My clients
Hmm.
just done a big like 30K month, but like they don't share how the client felt like behind the scenes of that. And then the
Yeah,
person, is probably actually, yeah, like burnt out. And it's like now people are seeing actually success is way more about the income that you create and more about how you feel with it.
yeah. I know a lot of coaches that are completely burnt out. Like they work like 70 like 80-hour weeks sometimes because they've got that many clients and it's like and even though they maybe have a team on board like it's just like you can work so hard but like when you get to one number it's never enough. Like there's
Mm.
always okay, well then what's the next one that you need to like remember like how far you've come in the first place and like why you like originally started to build any business really, because it's so easy to get caught up in the rat race. And I think especially in coaching it's very much like, well, how many clients do you have, and like I'm hiring a new coach here or I've got this or that, and it's always yeah something. So I think yeah, for me it's taken me a while to like sort of get into that headspace. And I think now that I live here as well and it's obviously such a beautiful space, like I don't want to be spending 70 hours in my apartment like at my desk. Like
No.
I'm happy working with the clients I work with. Like I absolutely love them. My coach Nicole like has her clients, she loves them as well. And it's like we just kind of do like a one in one out basis and we like cap it now, whereas beforehand we would never have capped it. I would have been like no, like more 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 more. So now I'm like no, mental well-being and peace and a regulated nervous system is definitely the way to go.
Way better. It's so much better.
Way better. Yeah, definitely.
If this conversation is resonating with you and you're feeling burnt out in business, constantly doing more and more, yet no longer feeling fulfilled behind the scenes, then please consider this your personal invitation. Because inside my coaching, we dive deep into the subconscious patterns and identity blocks that are costing you sustainable success so that you can then create a business and life that feels aligned, fulfilling, and genuinely supportive of the woman that you're becoming. If you're ready to stop surviving your success and actually start feeling excited for it again, then you can inquire through the links in the show notes, or please feel free to slide into my DMs. Let's get back to the episode. Yeah. And what then is something that you believe more so kind of about success? Obviously, you've had that change of success, but like we are saying, there's still a lot of people who are caught in that, like, yeah, rat race. They're kind of like on the hamster wheel, if you will, right? So, like, what's something that you now believe about success that most people in your industry would disagree with?
No days off. So I think like a lot of people like if you're or if you want to work hard, like you just got to go for it. You've just got to get it. Like you've got to suck it up. Like I feel like especially in the male fitness industry, this is quite a big one. And I also think that like we need to normalize like women and men do work and are wired completely different. So I think like if you were like even in a case of like business mentoring, like if you join like a male business mentor, it can be really easy to get so caught up being like, oh, you just don't want it enough. Like it's just like, and it's like that real pushy like mentality, whether it's like obviously us females, we kind of like, we want to be in our feminine, we want to feel good, but we also want to be a boss woman, but there has to be like a little
Oh.
bit of both. And I think like whenever you're like in that go-getter, like no days off, like you're so in your masculine that you can't actually be put in your feminine, and you just genuinely feel like shit, really. So yeah, the whole like no days off, like you can sleep when you're dead type sort of mentality when it comes to business is so common, especially in Dubai. And yeah, like I even know a couple of people that have like said to me like, how do you like take like something like an afternoon off on a Wednesday? And I'm like go to a beach club, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like my work's done. Like it's done. I've if I don't have any calls, or I've done all my client check-ins, or I've done all my client calls, like
Mm.
they're done. So why would I not be able to do that? And they're like, no, but you could be using that time more productively, like grow the business. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm good. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm happy with where it's at. So it's always like wanting that more.
Yeah, because also it's like, yeah, you could work that afternoon, but also like, is it going to be more, something I'm big on is like, is it going to be more productive for you to switch off a little bit, recharge so you have more like focus, or is it better to, push through and hustle more and get your like work
Yeah,
head down, ass up, but then not be able to focus as much and, take a longer to take
definitely.
that stop? It's like actually it's way better to just switch off. It's so funny as well when I get a lot of people being like, how do you switch off? And it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, like, what are you on about?
Chill. Yeah, I know. But I do get it. Like it is, I like a lot of people do find it hard to switch off, but that's because they're in overdrive all the time and they don't believe they deserve to rest. So if you don't believe you deserve to rest, or you feel like you're constantly like chasing your tail, then you're going to find it so much harder to switch off, because you're always constantly being like, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. And don't get me wrong, like I've really struggled with that, especially from being out here as well. Is like I'm like, I should be doing this, or I'll maybe have a lie-in one morning where I maybe do my cycle or something like that, and I'm like, I maybe pick up my phone, like, and I'm scrolling, and there's the 5 a.m. run clubbers, and there's the like, do you know when you're just like put the phone down? It's like there's so
I
much
don't want to see it.
comparison. Yeah. So I've said that's a big thing as well, is like is comparison for sure. Like it's definitely really easy to compare yourself. So like sort of learning to come out of that and just like keep staying in your own lane and your own journey. And everybody's version of success is obviously different. Um, so yeah.
It's something that you said there as well about like working as like a woman as well, and I think it's like so different as well when you can go into, of course, like a male mentor and whatnot, but if they don't have the understanding of like you're going to feel different week to week, face to face, some
Yeah.
people have conditions as well that make faces worse and whatnot, and it's like you've
Yeah.
got to really work with that as well for actually growing your business, to be
Yeah,
honest.
100%. And everyone's always in a different phase in their life as well. Like for me, whenever I packed up my life and moved here, I wasn't in a growing phase at all. I was like, okay, how can I just do everything I've just done, move to Dubai, set up a business, find an apartment, furnish the apartment, like, do absolutely everything, and also be in this big like push growth phase, like with clients. Like I was like, my clients are good and we're in a good spot. Like if clients come to me, fantastic, but like there was no need for me to be pushing in that point. So I think like it's like looking at where there's definitely phases where you should push if you want to, and you've got the energy and you've got like everything behind you, but there's also times where you should just like take a step back and be able like to be happy where you're at.
Yeah, 100%. And just as well mentioning about, packing up and moving out and moving into this different season. Obviously, I know as well that Dubai has been on the mind for a while, even when we were
See,
together.
that's crazy that like I would never, whenever we were speaking about it like 2 years ago, I always used to be like, remember we always used to be like Dubai, like I want to move to Dubai, and then I was like, "Oh, I can't move to Dubai," and there's no one want to move to Dubai, and it was like always, yeah, on the
Mm.
card. So it's
Yeah, because
crazy.
it was always like Dubai, and then it was, oh, maybe Spain or maybe this place. Like, there was
Yeah.
always a kind of fallback, if you will.
Mhm.
What would you say was like the moment where you were like, no, this has to happen?
So I came out here in November. So it
Mm.
all actually happened quite fast. So I was just, yeah, I came out in November. I came out for a business event. And like I used to come back and forth all the time for business events.
Yeah.
So we had calls when I've been out here before. I don't know why this time just hit really different. Like I came out, I was like sort of I actually had a horrific time getting here, which I thought the universe was completely against me. So I actually booked a connecting flight, and I'd missed the first flight, and I didn't realize that if you book a connecting flight, they cancel your second. So I was stranded in Heathrow for like 24 hours. Like, yeah.
Gosh, you know what? I'm so glad that you've just told me that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. So I had to like they had to put me on the next flight. So I had to like book a hotel. Anyways, got to Dubai daily and I was like, this is chaotic. But I remember like being here and something in me just like felt so different. I've always felt Dubai to be quite homely, but like this time it just felt like it was just a feeling I had. I was like, no, like I actually want to be here. I was starting to get really, really, really unhappy at home as well. So I noticed that like I was never content. Like there was never anything at home that would have that would have made me content. So if it wasn't the fact that I was unhappy and I wanted to be traveling more, and I did all the holidays, I must have went on about 4 5 6 holidays in a year, still didn't help. Then it was like I was blaming my PMDD that I have. I was like, maybe it's just a phase. Like maybe like I was maybe happy 1 week of the month, and I was like, no, my PMDD is so bad that I get it like 3 weeks of the month. Like so, then I was blaming that. Then I bought a house because I was like, maybe it's where I live. So then I was like, okay, let me buy a house and see if like that changes. 6 months in, again, still I was like, I'm still like, I'm just like there was just something in me, like I just like in a gut feeling that I just knew I wasn't meant to be there, and I was like, I'm so unhappy. And then whenever I flew out to Dubai, then I was like, I was just like, you know what, I'm doing it. Like I genuinely am. Yeah.
Mm. And what were the almost like going between that and then moving? What were, because I imagine that you probably still had a little bit of like, should I do this or should I not do this? Like, what were the internal,
Oh, 100%.
yeah, what were the internal kind of signs for you that you were like, yep, that's it, like that is the decision?
Mm. So I'm a really indecisive person. So I actually found it really, really, really difficult. But because I am usually an indecisive person and I had this drive to be like, I'm doing it, that's really unlike me. Usually I'm very much like, oh yeah, no, I'll do it. No, no, definitely not. No, couldn't do that. No, couldn't possibly do that. I'm always someone to like doubt loads.
Mhm.
So the fact that I had such a strong like feeling and pull like towards Dubai, like even more than like any of the previous times, that's where I was like, right, okay, no, like I definitely like this is right. But then also whenever I was at home, it was very much like, because there was only really a short space of time. So I came out in November and then I flew back home, and I remember I extended my trip whilst I was out here actually as well. And I also like that was maybe like the first time I've extended a trip before, and I was like, "Do you know what, frig it." Like I'm also not that spontaneous either where I would extend it like a trip. So I was like, again, another sign where I was like, there's just like I feel like the universe was just giving me signs that like just do it. Like so then I went home. Then I actually flew. I was like came home and I was like, this is not the one. So I actually flew back to Dubai for 3 weeks. And I met like loads of amazing people in that like space of time whenever I was here as well. Because I've kind of built up relationships with people obviously over the time that I've like been coming back and forth. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back out for 3 weeks. And then that 3 weeks was the game changer for me. It wasn't just the trip in November, it was the 3 weeks I spent here. I rented an Airbnb, like I lived here, like I did like food shopping, I did my gym routine, I did my work. I was so much more productive here. Like I just my energy was better. I felt happier. Like I just genuinely just loved it. And I was like, now I know. But whenever I did sort of move back and then sort of I didn't move to the February, I was kind of like there was a bit of like, am I making the right decision? Am I not? But I literally just looked at it and was like, you've literally been saying this for years. Like if it's not now, like there's never a right time to do anything in your life, like literally never. And I was like, I'm never gonna be like take this opportunity again if I don't do it right this second. And I just did it.
Oh my God, I literally love that. And I think as well, it's like knowing, I think it's like being able to trust that intuition
Yeah.
as well, of like knowing that it's been on your mind for that long and having that
Yeah.
pull towards, extending and then being there as well.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of people probably, and I know a lot of people like discount that as well and like put that to the side and they're like, oh, I'll deal with it another day and I'll decide another day. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, now you've actually made the decision as well.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you recently kind of opened up as well, because I feel like a lot of people probably are like glamorizing the move, looking from the outside as well.
Yeah.
But it's obviously been like so much change for you, and it's like and I mean you've literally like lifted up your life and moved elsewhere at 28 as well, right? So what unexpected kind of challenges have you navigated throughout the process?
I would say the first one is learning to be like alone again. So I obviously was in a long-term relationship before I left. And obviously that is no longer. So whenever I moved out, I think for me it was very much trying to learn to be alone again. So I would say loneliness would be one of the main things for me. And also like trying to build your circle from like scratch again. Like I've been quite like lucky here where I obviously have built relationships with people obviously prior to coming out here. Like over the last few years of sort of traveling back and forth for business, I've met some amazing people,
Mm.
but obviously you're coming from having friends at home that you've known since your childhood, or they know everything about you inside and out. You've got your family at your beck and call, and then like you're just coming here and it's just like poof, like you're just by
Mm.
yourself. Like, so I would say like loneliness would be one of the main things. Also as well, like fearing that I've made the wrong decision. So like again, when I got here, it wasn't a fact that okay, deep breath, I'm here, I love my life. It was like, have I made the right decision? Like, is that like, did I do the right thing? And there was a constant battle in my head back and forth about that as well. I also, because it was quite a stressful period of like for me as well, my health took quite a hit. So I was really like inflamed, like I was like I just felt so fatigued all the time. And obviously like adjusting to the weather and stuff over here as well. But I didn't expect I kind of expected to come out here and like and it feel like how it felt when I came back for the 3 weeks.
Mm.
Like I felt, oh, this is great. Whether I come out and I was like, okay, one, there's anxiety if I've made the wrong decision. Two, I'm actually a bit lonely.
Mm.
Three, what if it doesn't work out? Like, what if this doesn't ever work out? So like overthinking everything like that as well. So yeah, I would say they would be the main things.
Mm. Yeah, it's almost like yeah, again, like people probably are glamorizing and not seeing that you're gonna actually face these
Yeah.
inner like fears and feelings that and I mean I guess like also like Instagram is a highlight reel as well, right? Like you're not gonna open up about everything that you're moving through as well,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
I would sorry, as you go.
No, go on, go on, go
Okay,
on.
I was gonna say, I would love to know then, because obviously, you know, being faced with, yeah, learning to be by yourself again and, you know, making like different friendships there as well. What would you say has been the biggest like shift for you since moving?
Like in like myself,
Yeah, in yourself, in like your
business as
identity,
well,
business,
or
yeah, everything.
yeah, I would say that probably the biggest, maybe more so like my perspective of things. So, like, whenever I first came, it was very much like, I don't know, like, I just felt like I was looking at everything from home. Like, I'm not just like the coach from like my hometown anymore. Like, do you know, like, I was like, I'm like a little fish in a big pond. Whether whenever I was at home, I was like is that the right way to say it? A little fish in a big pond. Is that
Yeah.
right? Whether
Yeah.
like whenever I was at home, I was like a big fish in a little pond. If that makes sense. So I think
Yeah.
that's the
Makes
saying, isn't
sense.
it? Makes sense. Potato potato. So yeah, I think like how I was perceiving like one success, like what it looked like, two, like where I was sort of like at in general. Like I think yeah, it would be the main thing would be like perspective, and sort of like knowing that now like sort of like people are like I know like people are obviously watching because people are so invested in like my journey, etc. as well. And I did find that like I was whenever I first moved over, I was like, oh goodness, people are going to be talking about me sort of moving over here. Like I didn't really know how I felt about it. Whether it's now I've like had this like shift of like, you know, like I built this life for myself. Like I did this for me, and
Mhm.
like this is I think like for me it's been more so like just having that sort of positive outlook on things, and like always looking for that like sort of positive side to it rather than being like so negative. So I'd say yeah, more like perspective, sort of like building like a new lifestyle out here, and yeah.
And also, I can imagine as well that like just the mentality over there is so different as well.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Like obviously like you get small town mentality whenever you're from like a small town or whatever. So like, but out here it's very much like everybody wants to help you. Like, well, 90% of people like they want, like, everyone wants to see you do well. Whereas I didn't really find that at home. It was very much like a very competitive industry where, because there's maybe only three local personal trainers that are like on the scale that I would be on, or like, so it was very much like bad mouthing people, or it was like, you heard things behind your back. Whether it's out here, we're all in the same industry, but everybody is wanting everyone to do well. And like, for example, I could go and sit in a coffee shop and have five randomers like just come and just have a genuine conversation with me, like girls, or like, just like, how's your day, or love your gym outfit, or like, I've noticed like there's just so much more to the world than like just
Mm.
being stuck like in your hometown if you're not happy.
Yeah. Also, I feel like that is such a UK Ireland thing that people just don't do.
No,
Like you would never go up to a random person in a coffee shop and like start a conversation. Like,
no,
quickly.
never, never. The amount of people that I have met here, like through, like, for example, the other day, like I met like two girls that I went to paddle with, and we just like all went out together, like, and we'd met once, and that she just messaged, she was like, "Girl, like let's like just do something." Like, like, it's everyone's so open to connection here, and like open to like friendship and like doing things and putting themselves out there, whether you don't get that in Ireland or the UK. And I think from someone who struggled to push themselves out of their comfort zone quite a lot, like this has been massive for me, because I would have been, I always say I'm a bit of an extrovert introvert. So like I can kind of be like put myself out there and seem so bubbly and want to make loads of friends, but sometimes I can be quite like anxious in like bigger groups, or like, like meeting new people. And it's something that I have really pushed myself to do here, because I was like, if I don't do this like now, how are you ever going to meet new people? And so I think it's like pushing yourself out your comfort zone as well, knowing that you're capable of so much more than you actually put yourself down to.
Yeah, 100%. And that kind of leads into my next question is that if someone is listening to or watching this podcast and they kind of have the same desire that you had to, move abroad or to live elsewhere or to, pick up their life and move, but they're
Yeah.
feeling maybe like too afraid to actually take that step, what advice would you actually kind of offer them?
Oh, good question. I think like a lot of people confuse fear with like that's their body saying no.
Mm.
So like fear's like not actually the data, like it's actually like a sign that you care about what it is, like so deeply about what it is that you want to do. So if you're someone that is having like a constant thought, and if that is a reoccurring thought in your head, and trust me, I had the thought for years, but like if it's a constant thought in your head, it's usually your intuition being like, you need to do it. Like you will figure out, you always figure it out, but you always have to figure it out after you start. You can't figure it out before, but like it's literally impossible. Like there's never a right time to start anything, to make the move, to make the jump, to start coaching, to start a new sport, to start your driving lessons, whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Like there's literally never a right time. So you just need to do it, because if you don't, you're going to be sat when you're maybe in your 50s or 60s being like, do you know what, like whenever I was younger I really wish I would have done that, but I kept procrastinating or making excuses. Or like, you like, what's the worst thing, like worst case scenario, like what actually could happen? Like for me it was like, what could happen? I don't like Dubai after 6 months and I move somewhere else. Like great, like
Mhm.
that's really the worst case scenario. Like
Yeah.
there's, yeah, so it's generally just do it and believe in yourself enough to do it as well. And yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and like show yourself that you're capable of doing it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think a lot of it, and that's why I work quite a lot, obviously, with sort of like the inside, like sort of like like the mindset side of things with coaching with clients as well, because like a lot of people don't realize that people are like, I'll be confident when I've lost the weight, I'll be confident when it gets to the summer and I've like achieved this goal. But like you literally, like you, it comes from here first of all, and if you're confident here, then it obviously helps, like
Mm.
you'll be confident in all areas as well.
100%. Yeah, it's actually like not the externals at all. Like it actually
Yeah.
fully has to come from, and I feel like as well when you're not feeling confident, it's so annoying to like sit with that, but like
Yeah.
it actually is just the truth. Like you could change because you see that in like, the most successful people, or you see that in people who are, even shredded or like they've got the body they want, they're still
Still
not
not
confident.
happy. No.
Yeah.
Hmm. Same in business, it's like, okay, let's hit a 5K month, let's hit a 10K month, let's hit a 15K month, or whatever your monthly goal is that you want to hit. You will never ever be content, because you're all you always like feel like there's like there could be more as well. So like I feel like you are always chasing something, but like you need to be like confident in yourself and where you're at in all areas. Like, and I feel like if you're quite an insecure person, you're always looking for something else. You're never going to be happy.
Yeah, and something that I've been like big on recently as well is like kind of subscribing to the season that you're in a way, like actually allowing yourself to be like, okay, yeah, I'm in a growth season. This is what I'm gonna make the best out of it by doing X, Y, and Z. Or like I'm in a season where maybe I'm not feeling my best in my body, but I can still make it the best by doing X, Y, Z. Do you know what I mean? Actually just kind of meeting yourself where you are rather than where you're gonna be in your potential.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's it. Like, and I think this is another thing people don't realize is whenever you start a fitness journey or you start anything, it's never just going to be plain sailing. Like, it's never just going to be like the same thing. You're never going to be able to do the exact same workouts, this exact same routine. You could, like, you could be sick, or you could be going through like a massive life transformation, like myself. Like, my fitness was that, like I didn't even set foot in a gym like whenever I first got here. Like I did like apartment sessions, but it was like treadmill or like a really quick full body. Like that was the last of my worries. I was still making sure my nutrition was on point and things like that, like where I could. But like I realized that I've just moved country, so like I can enjoy myself a little bit more. I don't need to be pushing my body in other ways when I'm being pushed so much mentally as well. So like I think you just have to like remember that you can, like, I always say with my clients, I always set like maximums and minimums with them, and like their maximums are like what they do whenever they're like feeling good and they've got all the time, and then their minimums are what they do whenever they're like maybe going through like a bit of like a hard time. So it's like you literally are never in the same season. So like but that's part of a fitness journey. That shouldn't be the reason why you stop and start it all the time.
100%. And that's actually one thing that I love about you as well is that you're always like showing people that you can achieve your goal without having to sacrifice like your life or sacrifice
Queen
yourself.
of balance.
Literally pin a balance. I know I'm like there's sometimes where you're like dancing on a table and then your next slide is like you're at the gym and I'm like fair play. Like she's living her life and she's still smashing it.
Literally, that's one thing that I've actually started to share a little bit more of now I've been over here. It was always something that I was like, should I share that? Because I think a lot of coaches don't share that side because they're so scared of being judged by, I don't know, other people, or they maybe think that that's not something they want to promote. But like, I'm not ashamed to admit, I love a glass of rosé. I love a night out with a girl. Sometimes I love coming in at 2 a.m. Sometimes I love going to a beach club. Like, like
Yeah.
I love that. But I also love smashing a leg session. I also love eating my meal prep during the week. I also love my morning walks. I also love my journaling in the evening with a cup of tea. Like,
Yeah.
there's balance. Do you know what I mean? So it's not, yeah, I'm not completely feral.
Yeah. And I guess like why, because I think some people, even going back to that like kind of binge restrict cycle as well, a lot of people value like, going all in and then having like the big blowouts, whatever it may be. Like, why would you say it's important that you're approaching success in this way instead?
Because if you are someone who like is like me and you've always like loved going out and you've like loved like your weekends and you like that, like that's your thing, if you're going into like something and you completely cut that out because you feel like you need to lock in for the next 6 weeks or lock in for the next 8 weeks, you're only restricting that. So like you're promoting that all or nothing mentality and that mindset. So you're always going to be like, whenever you then gets to like this one event that you've got coming up and you're going to go, I'm going to have a massive blowout because like I literally have kept myself inside for so long, and then you go out, you go mad, you get pissed, I don't know, like, and then you're eating a kebab on the side of the street. Then the next day you're like, well, I haven't been hungover in ages, so I'm going to order a Chinese and I'm going to have a McDonald's breakfast. And then like, the like just success fitness journey wise, I think like you are just going to then spine, and then you're going to feel shit come Monday and like not, and it's just like one big spot, and then you're like restriction again, and then you're like, well, that's why I don't go out, and then you completely stopped. Whereas if you can go out, like have a few glasses of prosecco or whatever, like, have your meals planned for the next day, like, yeah, you maybe might be a bit hungover, but like, like you've still like allowed yourself to enjoy yourself, you've still ticked all your boxes off during the week, and you don't feel half as bad like come the Monday. And then I think with business, like as well, like if you aren't having fun, like you don't have the, I feel like for me anyway, if I'm not having fun outside of business, like, and I feel like I'm constantly working, like I literally don't have the drive to want to do, like it makes me miserable.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Definitely like it, and it's I think people are very quick to like put things in separate boxes where they actually all kind of are in the one. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got business, you've got your lifestyle, you've got your personal goals, but they all like how you it's how when people say how you do one thing is how you do everything, right?
Hmm.
So it's like if you're
Yeah.
in that cycle in one area, it's gonna bleed into all the other areas.
Hmm. And I also think as well, I actually watched a clip of a podcast. It was like Stephen Bartlett, I think it was, and he said, I don't know if you've seen this. It was like circulating TikTok recently, and it was like that he drank 2 glasses of wine and it ruined his whole week or it ruined his whole life. And I think people get so bogged down into like wearing these like aura rings or like tracking like your sleep score or tracking like all your numbers, and people get so bogged down in that they're nearly convincing themselves there is something wrong with them, or like, you know, if you think something is going to happen, if you think you're going to be anxious about a certain situation, you're going to be anxious. Like if you, it's like this, like if you think like, you know, you're putting that sort of out there. So I think
Mm.
like having that mindset, I think like that the culture like nowadays is very much like obviously drinking is bad, or like, which obviously to a certain extent, like you shouldn't be like doing it every single weekend, but like, you know, you need to be like up at 5 a.m., or you need to have this sleep score, or you need to, you know, like there's so much pressure and so much information out there on like social media platforms. You need to get this ring, you need to get this watch, like this tracks that, like it's there's so it's so overwhelming. So it's not a bit of wonder that people are just like, nah,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know what the first step to do because it's too overwhelming, so I'm just not going to do anything at all. Like people are getting so bogged down in like the nitty gritty that like years ago there was no such thing as any of these things and people survived just fine. So like, why are we all like so obsessed with it?
Yeah, it's almost like you're actually going against the grain by
Yeah,
not having a aura ring or not tracking
yeah,
like
just
steps
relax.
or like
Yeah,
not getting like 10K steps. Like why everyone decided
that's the
it's
thing.
like
Why 10K?
what
Literally.
like where did that number come from? Do you know what I
Who
mean?
made up the honestly, someone like who made that up? Like, because
Yeah.
this is what I actually had this conversation with a client the other day. She said, "But I'm not going to hit 10K steps." I was like, "And?" I was like, "That's fine. Like, we don't need to be hitting 10K steps." Like, I was like, "What was your average whenever you before you joined?" And she was like 3K a day, and I was like, "And what are you hitting now consistently?" She was like 7K, and I'm like, "Right." So that's what we need to do. Like, are you still seeing progress on a weekly basis? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So that why do you need to be hitting 10K? Do you know? Like,
Mhm.
it's like
Yeah.
just sometimes just me it's just bringing people down to like realistic expectations. Like people think I need to smash the gym 5 times a week. I need to eat absolutely no chocolate all week, and I also like, you know, need to be doing like 60 minutes on the Stairmaster or whatever fat burning workout they've seen on TikTok and that's been saved, and like then I'm gonna do hot yoga, then I'm gonna do Pilates. Like everyone's just complicating it. Like it's really simple. Like just stick to the basics. Like you don't need to be doing everything else.
Yeah, 100%. Because even like I can even think back to like my fitness training. I used to do like an hour and a bit, training weights and whatnot, and then do an hour on the Stairmaster.
Mhm.
Everything like 2 hours in the gym wouldn't be me now. Like I'm sorry,
It's crazy,
insane.
crazy.
But now I look back and I'm like, well, there's no wonder that you felt terrible. You were always
Mhm.
tired. You were not seeing results because you were literally spending 2 hours every single time in the gym and hating it.
Literally.
Well, right? If there's for anyone who also is, because I guess that you will get a lot of the clients that come to you are probably in that stage where they are really overwhelmed and maybe trying to be like perfect 100% of the time and trying to go to more of the extremes as well.
Mhm.
What's like the first thing that someone should look at?
So if someone is struggling with like the all or nothing mindset, like the main clients that come to me,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah,
what you're
yeah.
asking, yeah. So the first thing I always say, I always look at is like how their week operates, like how exhausted are they? Because if you're tired, like sleep is the one thing that ties absolutely like holds everything together. Like if your sleep is bad, like your your body does not respond very well. So I always look at like how much rest they're getting first of all. I'm like, okay. And then I also look at their expectations and like is your expectations matching up like what it is that you're like wanting. So I always say they're like the first two things. It's like definitely look at your sleep, definitely look at what your expectations are. Like if you're looking to lose 2 stone in 6 weeks, it's not going to happen. Like it's very much like that, like being able to zoom out and have like a realistic expectation. Then obviously the main thing is like looking at, are you enjoying your meals on a daily basis? Are you eating them just to tick a box because you've seen that you should be eating that because it's high in protein and it's, so like that would be another thing. And also like daily habits too. So like looking at like how many hours are you spending doom scrolling, like how many hours are you getting again for a night's sleep, how are you spending your mornings, are you like because I think like they're also all really important, and it sets your tone up for the day. Like how you spend your morning, how you spend your evening really does set your tone up. So yeah, definitely sleep, habits, then your food, and then obviously your exercise and stuff on top of that.
Yeah, like have like a strong like foundation first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We start with the habits, definitely. Yeah.
I always
And
say that
obviously it
to
comes in as a habit. Yeah.
I always say that to my clients as well. Of like, I think a lot of people, it's like when you're building a house, you do it like brick by brick, and you do like,
Yeah.
I don't know the actual ins and outs of it. I'm not a builder, but you do like the floor, and then you do the walls, and then you put the roof on, right? Like, and I think a lot of people. It's what I say to my clients all the time. Of you're probably trying to put like a roof onto like an unfinished
Yeah.
foundation as well, and it's like it's not going to work.
No.
It's going to fall down. You know.
Because people don't realize that it didn't take you 6 weeks to get in the shape that you're unhappy in. So it's not going to take you 6 weeks to get out of it. Like, if people have no patience nowadays.
Mm.
Zero.
Yeah, literally
It's
zero.
like, take it. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. Like,
Give
you know.
yourself. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Well, thank you for all of that. I have one final question, which I would just love to know what do you think the rest of this year is looking like for you? What's coming up for you? Your coaching, like, where do you see yourself for the rest of this year?
So, personally, so I am here until July, and then I'm doing a bit of a hot girl European summer. So I'm going to Portugal, then I'm going to Mykonos, and then I'm going home. I'm also hosting my first ever event at home. So that's exciting. Yeah, really excited for that. So I just need to get a venue locked in before I can start like releasing more details. So I've always wanted to do that, like that community side of it. Like we've got a group shoot as well. So like again, like that side of things. So business wise, yeah, my first ever community event. We've got a client shoot. Again, like I would love like by the end of the year to maybe have another coach brought in under the team as well, and grow and expand our team even more now that I'm settled here in Dubai. And then yeah, personally I'm gonna do a bit of traveling in summer. I'm gonna go home for my event, and then I'll be back out here in Dubai, so that's what it's looking like for me.
That is honestly sounds like such a great year. I love that. And it's so nice to see you like set up there as well, especially since it's something that we spoke about for ages.
Yeah, for so long. I know it's crazy. It all comes round full circle, doesn't it?
Well, thank you for coming on today, and I will pop any of your socials, any of your like websites as well into the show notes so that if anyone does want to work with you, obviously I would recommend you 100%.
Yes.
Into the show notes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, and I will catch everyone in the next episode.